Hi guys, and welcome in to Season 1, Episode 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This one is called The Harvest, so I'm really excited to get into it, not only because it's called The Harvest, and we know that something big is happening with this whole harvest thing that we learned from the first episode, but also I'm really excited to get into it because the last episode ended on a cliffhanger, which thanks to you guys, I found out that when Buffy first premiered in 97, it was a double episode premiere, so people didn't have to wait after one episode like I did. I have been waiting a couple days here, and I've been thinking about the show a lot, and I'm really excited to see where the second episode takes us. I want to thank you guys so much for finding me. I guess YouTube for pushing me into the Buffy algorithm once I decided to react to this show. Like, Buffy fans, I can tell that you guys are like so passionate, but you seem so like nice and kind and excited. Thank you so much for all the kind comments. I am so excited to watch Buffy with you guys, and I wanted to address a couple things I saw in the comments. First off, I do want to say that as far as moderators go, I used to, if you don't know, I had an old channel where I did Game of Thrones reactions, and I guess Game of Thrones, when I was doing that, my mom was actually moderating my comments for me, which worked out really, really nicely. And apparently Game of Thrones was like really big, like the fandom was like known in the reaction world for just blatantly spoiling people on purpose. Like, it was really weird. There's a weird side of the Game of Thrones fandom. So I'm not sure what it's like in Buffy, if there will be a lot of like trolls trying to spoil me. It would be really nice, obviously, to get through this whole reaction series without any spoilers. Because I know so little about the show, it's just really nice getting to go into it like that. So I will be asking my mom to moderate the comments again. I will only be looking at comments for a certain window of time after she has moderated them for me. If you wanted to help my mom out and just like point out any comments that you find to be spoilery, just like comment underneath it and be like, hey, this might be a spoiler. This might be a little bit of a spoiler. Say it kindly, but because I know a lot of people, they don't mean to be spoiling things. And then also, I addressed this in the last video that the reason that I had been MIA on YouTube for a couple weeks was because I adopted a puppy from my local humane society, and her name is Karma. I don't know if I said that in the last video, but you guys were very understanding, and a lot of you guys really wanted to see Karma. And the reason that you didn't see her in the last video is because I film upstairs in my house, and she is not allowed upstairs yet until she is 100% potty trained because it's all carpet up here. But earlier today, I took a video with her downstairs that I'm going to insert now so that I can introduce you guys to Karma. I am here to introduce you to my puppy Karma. She is 3 months old. Come here, Karma. Oh, come here. Hi. Hi, 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 hi. Say hi to the camera. Do you see the camera? Do you see it? This is my puppy. 3 months old. I got her from my local humane society. She is doing really, really good at learning potty training and crate training, and she's really good with boundaries. She's really a fast learner, just like a perfect little puppy, even though it's a lot to do on your own. But yeah, there she is. You guys were asking to see her. She has her first vet today. So we're getting ready to go to the vet now, and then I'm hoping to watch the second episode of Buffy when we get back. So I'm actually not 100% sure if she is. I was told that she is a Shepherd Lab mix, but I don't think they knew for sure. So I think I'm gonna do a DNA test thing on her, and maybe the vet will have some more knowledge on what she might be. But that's Karma. That's the love of my life. So that is Karma. The vet appointment went really, really well today. She is exactly where she needs to be in all forms. She wasn't terrified of the vet, you know, that she was literally, her tail was wagging through her shots. So she is a great dog. She's an amazing puppy, and I'm so lucky to have her. So we talked about Karma. We talked about moderating comments. I said a big thank you to everyone who has found me and welcomed me into the Buffy verse. Quickly, I'm going to say at the end of the last episode, I went through all my first impressions of the characters, where I hope that their characters go. I talked about, you know, some of the lore that we figured out in the first episode as far as Buffy being a vampire slayer. She knows about it. No one else knows except her friends now because they've got caught up in this mess. And there are these people called Watchers. I believe there's multiple Watchers, even though Buffy is the only, is the vampire slayer of her generation. There are multiple Watchers. And I don't know, there must be multiple vampire slayers, but maybe there's just not multiple chosen ones in the way that she is. I'm not sure. Buffy just kind of got her butt kicked into a coffin by a random stupid vampire, and that is where we left off. So without further ado, I'm ready to get into this episode. Before we get into it, I do want to mention that I do have a Patreon where I post my full reactions to the show, so if that's something you would be interested in, that's linked below, and how that all works is listed in the tiers, the tier descriptions of my Patreon page. Then I think we'll leave it there.
Every generation there is a chosen.
Oh, here we go with the fun intro again.
Against the vampires. She is the Slayer.
The Slayer. Oh, perfect. Right where we left off. Sun. Oh, right, the cross. Also, you let me know in the comments that silver does not affect vampires. It's just the fact that it's a cross that it affects them.
Hey!
Oh, there's a little scary cat.
Where's Jesse?
I don't know. They surrounded us.
That girl grabbed him and took off.
Which way?
It's really convenient that the stakes can just be like randomly broken off of like literal tree branches. It doesn't have to be like a fancy sort of stake of some kind. All right, Jesse is missing, you guys. Is that going to be the plot of this whole episode? Or are we going to find him right away? Imagine if he's missing like the whole season and it all revolves around finding Jesse. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be resolved by the end of the episode. Oh, and Allison, the actress, you guys also said, because I said that I recognized her, and you guys were like, well, you might know her from either How I Met Your Mother or American Pie, and it's from American Pie, which I've only seen once, but she has the iconic line about that one time at band camp. So, you know, that's what I remember her from, not even from American Pie. I don't remember the movie. I just remember her delivering that one line.
The books tell that the last demon to leave this reality fed off a human, mixed their blood. He was a human form possessed, infected by the demon's soul. He bit another, and so they walked the earth, feeding, killing some, mixing their blood with others to make more of their kind.
That's crazy. So in this world, vampires are just kind of an offspring species of demons. Poor Jesse. He's gonna be fine. I feel like he's got main character energy.
He's a good one. His blood is pure.
What does pure mean?
You've tasted it. You bring me scraps.
I didn't mean...
I have waited for 70 years. I have waited.
Okay, well then take what you can get if you waited so long. Can't be picky. But also, you know, I want Jesse to be okay, so this works out.
Jesse is my responsibility. I let him get taken.
That's not true.
If you hadn't shown up, they would have taken us too. Does anybody mind if I pass out?
Breathe.
This may be the dumb question, but shouldn't we call the police?
No.
And they'd believe us, of course.
Well, we don't have to say vampires. We could just say that there's a bad man.
They couldn't handle it even if they did show up. They'd only come with guns. But I didn't see any access around there.
Well, there's an electrical tunnel that runs into the whole town.
If we
Great.
have a diagnostic of the tunnel system, it might indicate a meeting place.
A Slayer. Have you any proof?
Only that she fought me and yet lives.
Very nearly proof enough. I can't remember the last time that happened.
1843, Madrid.
Wow, Buffy.
He caught me sleeping.
Oh my god.
She mustn't be allowed to interfere with the harvest. She'll try to save him.
I thought you nothing more than a meal boy.
Now you're bait.
Congratulations, you've just been upgraded to bait.
Yep.
I was facing the entrance. He came from behind me and he didn't follow me out. The access to the tunnels is in the mausoleum. There's no we, okay? I'm the Slayer and you're not.
And you throw that back in my face.
Sandra, this is deeply dangerous.
I'm inadequate. That's fine.
Oh, come
I'm less than
on.
man.
And where do we think we're going?
We?
Where did you come from?
Me.
Here at Sunnydale, nobody leaves campus while school's in session. Are we clear?
We're clear.
Sensible girl with her feet on the ground.
Very rarely. Exactly. Oh my god. That is an actual superpower. Like lately, seeing her fight in Slayer mode, it's but just like really good fighting skills. That was not fighting skills. That was like flying.
But maybe you should get to class.
You mean we? We should get to class.
Yeah.
Come on. If you try to interrupt Buffy You're probably gonna ruin. Oh no. He's gonna try to help Buffy, but him being there is just gonna like ruin her plans, and she's gonna have to save him, and it's gonna be like extra stuff on her plate, you know? What if it's a fun like secret entrance where like you like shake the hand of a statue and then a secret door opens up? Or it's just a door with a chain. Oh, is that our friend? Our mysterious
I don't suppose
friend?
you've got a key on you.
I knew you'd figure out this entryway sooner or later. Actually, I thought it was gonna be a little sooner.
Calm down, we got school.
Look, if you're gonna be popping up with this cryptic wise man act on a regular basis, can you at least tell me your name?
Angel.
Angel.
Is it actually?
It's a pretty name. Got a friend down there. Or at least a potential friend. Do you know what it's like to have a friend?
Oh, oh no.
I wasn't supposed to be a stumper.
Oh, we need to be his friend now.
When you hit the tunnels, head east towards the school. That's where you're likely to find them.
You gonna wish me luck?
Stop, I like him now. I love him. Oh, I'm in love. Oh no. I love how annoyingly like confident and he seems and like bravado-esque he is, but then we just saw a very vulnerable piece of him for a flash there. And I love that. Oh. That was a big one. Guys, when I went to New York City earlier this year, I rode the subway everywhere, and I saw a huge rat on the subway tracks, and I never felt more alive. Oh, I hate this POV camera angles. They make me so tense. Like something's gonna pop out. Oh, and it's all twisty and turny.
Xander, what are you doing here?
Something stupid. I followed you.
Well,
I couldn't just sit home and do nothing.
Well, okay. Well, at least he showed up before, like, the thick of the action.
Look, Jesse's my butt, okay? If I can help him out, that's what I gotta do.
I can't tell if he's just a really, really good guy who just has this innate need to be of help, or if this is a little bit of his ego getting in the way and wanting to be a part of the action, you know? Could be both.
Are we going to the Bronze tonight?
No, we're going to the other cool place in Sunnydale. Of course we're going to the Bronze. Friday night, no cover. So anyway, I come out of the bathroom and she comes running at me, screaming with a stick. I swear.
Who?
Buffy. The new girl.
What's your deal?
Well, she's crazy.
Where
Did
did
you
he
hear
come
about her
from?
old school?
She's a psycho loony.
No, she's not.
What?
Willow, stand up for your girl.
Excuse me?
She
Who gave
said
you
it.
permission to exist? Do I hone in on your private discussions? Finally, the nightmare ends. Okay, so how do we save it?
Deliver.
Deliver? Where's that? Oh.
Jesse!
Oh, no.
What the heck is he doing? Oh, wait, right.
Jesse!
Xander.
Jesse, man, are you okay?
Oh, the bro hug.
I am not okay on an epic scale. They said that I was the bait.
Oh, great, now you tell us.
They brought me through here. There should be a way up. I hope.
Oh, the eyes in the darkness.
I got an idea. You can die.
I'm sorry, what? No.
I feel strong. I'm connected, man, to everything. I can hear the worms in the earth. That means you die. And I feed.
Xander, the cross!
Get out of my face.
We need to get out of here.
There is no heaven.
I cannot believe Jesse is a vampire. I thought that was gonna be like some season 3 plot. Episode 2, one of our mains is a vampire? Is he even a main? I considered him a main. Oh, okay, we're good.
Master, we had her trapped. Oh, are you going to make excuses?
Also, it just makes you sound worse. Like you had her trapped and then you still couldn't get her.
Tell me you're sorry.
So you're about to kill him.
I'm sorry. You've got something in your eye. Every soul he takes will feed me. And their souls will grant me the strength to free myself.
Oh boy.
I shall walk the earth, and the stars themselves will hide.
I don't think so. You might walk the earth, but I don't think the stars are going to go anywhere. Sorry.
Sort of, portal between this reality and the next. This vampire hoped to open it. The minion is called the Vessel, and he bears this symbol.
I dust anyone sporting that symbol, and no harvest.
Yeah.
I got a call from your new principal. Says you missed some classes today.
Oh, that principal is so annoying.
I haven't finished unpacking, and I'm getting calls from the principal. If you don't go out, it'll be the end of the world. Everything is life or death when you're a 16-year-old girl. You have all the time in the world. You're not going anywhere.
Perfect. What, oh, is that the bread on the left, like the bread at church? That is a sharp one. Does anyone else like suck on candy canes until they become a candy cane steak? Or is that just, it's not just me. I know people do it. Then I like to poke myself with it. I don't know why. Oh, bronze. This whole time I thought they were saying bronze, like B-R-A-U-N-S.
Senior boys are the only way to go. And guys from our grade, forget about it. They're children, you know?
It's so funny, like, how idolized senior boys are in high school. Like, they seem so much older and mature, but they're just still just, like, children, you know?
You know, hello, Miss Motormouth. Can I get a sentence finished? Oh, I love this song.
I'm hoping for some good character development with Cordelia, too, if she stays on as a main. And honestly, now that Jesse has been turned into a vampire and he isn't going to be able to be part of the group, the tight-knit friend group anymore, Cordelia might step in. But like I said, we need lots of character development because she's so mean. I don't mean to laugh about it, but she is funny. The things she says are so mean but so funny to me because it's so 90s and just out of pocket.
What do you want? Hey, hello?
Shut up.
Well, just one dance.
Oh my god. That's kind of sad that she's into that. Because she hasn't paid him any mind when he was like sweet little Jesse, and now that he's been all mean and bravado and manly, being mean and demanding her time, she's like, okay, one dance. So sad.
There is no cause for alarm.
It's a great way to start a
Actually,
speech.
there is cause for alarm.
Oh my god, how are we gonna... First of all, I'm assuming that Buffy's gonna be successful in saving this club, but now that whole club knows vampires exist, like, is there a memory wiper of some sort?
Here's a pretty one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you in the middle of something?
You!
You didn't think I'd miss this.
Stop, I love her little parkour moments.
You want blood?
I want yours.
Okay, come and get
Only
it.
yours.
There's always a convenient stack of boxes when people get thrown around in TV shows. Are we gonna have to kill Jesse?
Heads up. Don't make me do it.
I know, it's weird, like, you kind of have to, but he's like your friend.
Put me out of my misery. You don't have the gun.
Oh, man. Well, R.I.P. Jesse. Also, that's traumatizing for Xander. Oh, loser.
It's in about 9 hours, moron.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was like, already? Sunrise already? I've been here a long time. Angel. He's such a creeper, but I kind of love him.
Nothing's ever gonna be the same.
Yeah. Jesse's gone and half the town's young population knows about vampires.
Rival gangs, you know, fighting for turf. But all I can tell you is they were in the ugly way of looking. And Buffy, like, we knew them. I'm telling you, it was a freak show. Oh, I wish I'd been there. Should have been there. So great.
Okay, so they just think it was a weird gang fight and the people looked weird?
We should at least have an assembly.
People have a tendency to rationalize what they can and forget what they can't.
Believe me, I've seen it happen.
The next threat we face may be something quite different.
I can hardly wait.
Like
We're
what?
at the center of a mystical convergence here.
Well, I gotta look on the bright side. Maybe I can still get kicked out of school.
Oh yeah, that's a plan. Because a lot of schools aren't on hellmouths.
Maybe you could blow something up. They're really strict about that.
I was thinking
They're
of a more
really
subtle
strict
approach,
about
you know,
that.
The Earth is doomed.
Oh, that was a good ending. Hold on. Before I talk about a couple things that I wrote down, I want to go back and check on the sign outside of the club, because I remember in the last episode, I was like, what is her mom doing letting her go out to a club when she's 16? And then someone in the comments is like, well, there's like all ages clubs. Okay, here it is. We're at Bronze. See that sign on the top right?
I didn't know I was gonna get grounded. I'll find my own way.
Right.
Oh, I got it. It says you must be 21 to be served alcohol. So you can go in when you're young, but you just can't drink. Okay. That's interesting. All right. Wow. I feel like the first thing we have to talk about is Jesse. I was talking about Jesse in the last episode as if he was just a given main character that was going to be with us through the whole series. He was part of the gang, you know what I mean? He was one of Willow and Xander's best friends. They were a little trio that Buffy was getting led into, and not only did he get turned into a vampire, but he died. I was like, I wasn't equally shocked by both. I think I was a little bit more shocked when I saw that he was a vampire, because I just wasn't expecting anything to happen to him. But then I was again shocked when they killed him too, because I thought, well, if you're going to turn him into a vampire, I'm guessing you're going to want to crank out a couple episodes with that plot line and them trying to figure out how to deal with that and get through to him, maybe, because it does seem that is one thing that I appreciate about Jesse being turned into a vampire, is it let us understand who a person can become when they're a vampire, because obviously all these vampires we've been introduced to so far just seem like terrible, evil people, which they are. Like, they become brainwashed to follow a master and kill people, you know, there's that. But it was interesting that Jesse kept all of his memories, and there was for sure like pieces of Jesse inside of him still, like the old Jesse, which is so traumatizing for the people around him to witness him as a vampire, because it's not like he just gets turned into a completely different person and monster and there's no getting through to him, or no nothing at all. It's not like a clean swipe of like, okay, Jesse is gone. But it's just not true. Like, there's still pieces of him there, like a lot of parts of him there. So that just makes it so much harder and makes me so much more nervous about the idea of further down the line someone becoming a vampire. Like, I don't think, now that they did that to Jesse in the second episode, I don't think any of the other main 3, 4, if Cordelia, I can't tell if where they're going to go with Cordelia, whether she's going to be in the group or not, but she might be. I'll consider her a main character for now. I'm scared to consider anyone a main character now, but I just don't see them doing that to another main character, turning them into a vampire, until later seasons, after establishing like an emotional connection between us and that character. Because obviously the shock value with Jesse was just that I thought he was a main character when he clearly wasn't. And then I feel like the next shock with a vampire, a character being turned into a vampire, is going to be more along like the emotional ties, tug at the heartstrings, like shock, like no, not her, not him type of thing. And I feel like that when that comes around, it won't be in the same episode they get turned into a vampire and then they're immediately killed. Like, I feel like when it comes around, it is going to be like a big plot point of like, how do we manage this? I'm very curious. Is it possible to get through to someone? Because we saw that there was, like I said, pieces of Jesse inside of him as a vampire still. So that makes me hopeful that if someone else eventually does turn into a vampire, we'll be able to get through to them and convince them to be good. We don't know too much about the psyches of vampires as of yet in this show, and I wouldn't expect to by episode 2, but we are seeing seeds of it already, which is very promising, and I'm very interested to get that further developed as the show goes on. Okay, so yeah, that is Jesse. I do wonder if Xander is going to be immediately okay moving on from that. I will say one thing about older shows is that a lot of the time the main characters in older shows like go through really, really, really traumatic things, and then by the next episode they're completely fine or they're like, that sucked, I'm sad, and then they're completely fine, you know, like they got to keep it moving. So I am curious to see how they're going to handle what happened with Xander, because that's traumatizing what happened. Like, he was struggling. He probably wouldn't have been able to kill Jesse even if he had to, and if it hadn't been for that struck of fate where the person knocked Jesse into the stake, then Jesse would probably still be alive and not dead at technically the hands of Xander. So it is an older show, so I don't know what to expect on how they're gonna treat Xander's character after what he went through in episode 2, but I'm interested to see where they go with that. So we learned a couple of things. We learned that the vampires are an offspring species of a form of demons, which makes me wonder, and there was a comment, the library, Giles made a comment that it's not just vampires that they're going to have to face going forward. Like, he kind of insinuated that there are other monsters in the world, which I'm very, very excited about, because there is only so much that you can do with straight up vampires for 7 seasons, and so many plot lines that you can drive through and reach an end to, because I'm guessing like this first season is going to be all about this guy. I forget if we have a name for him. I would have written it down. I don't think I did. I'll just call him the Master, the Vampire Master. Obviously, he still has some of his cronies out there that survived the club, and he's still going to be trying to come to full power. And so I feel like that's probably going to be what this first season is about. But maybe in the second season, we'll start getting introduced to other sorts of monsters and demons. I'm very curious to see visually what maybe regular demons look like. If they are permanently monstrous or if they also can shapeshift. Yeah, I'm really happy that they planted some seeds there about it not just being vampires that we have to worry about. Oh, I randomly wrote down that Willow's idea about calling the police. So I'm happy that they brought this up too, because a lot of times in shows and movies, specifically within the thriller horror genre, the audience get annoyed when the characters don't just call the police. They're like, just why? What are you doing? Just call the police. The argument in fantasy shows is we can't call the police because the police won't believe us, because the world doesn't know monsters or vampires exist, so the police are no help. But Willow brought up a really good point. She was like, well, let's just call them and not say that it's monsters, and let's just say that, you know, someone kidnapped Jesse and we think they're like keeping him in the mausoleum in the cemetery, and report him missing as a regular thing. And then when the police show up, they face these vampires, then they can help us and we can have a bigger army of people to take these vampires down. I thought that was so smart, and I never thought of that before in the fantasy realm. Like just telling them and reporting a missing person, reporting a possible murder, reporting things under the guise as it's just a normal report rather than it's a vampire, it's a monster. You know, Willow's very smart to point that out. But then Buffy was like, well, yeah, we could probably get the police to help us if we told them that story, but they're not even going to be much of a help because they're not vampire slayers. I am. Like, what are they going to do if they face a vampire? Probably get killed. So I get that. I do get that. I wonder how vampires would react to like a gunshot wound, like being shot. I'm guessing it would just hurt them and maybe slow them down a little, but obviously it's not, it wouldn't kill them. I just wonder if they'd like just not be affected at all, or if it would slow them down a little. I'm guessing we'll find out at some point. Oh, we found out that our mysterious friend who likes to pop up in alleyways and mausoleums, his name is Angel. And I'm wondering if that's his name or if he's a literal angel, because we know that there's not just vampires, which means there's other supernatural entities in this world. If there's vampires, and specifically if there's demons, there must also be angels. And that would be so funny if he was an angel. Not funny, but like, because he's so dark and mysterious, it would just be unexpected if he was an angel. But his name is literally Angel. And we saw that flash of vulnerability in him when Buffy kind of made a jab at him for having no friends, which made me want to marry him. As soon as I see a man be vulnerable for a second, I'm like, marry me, please. But yeah, so I'm liking him. I would say in the first episode when it came to Angel, I was 50-50 about him. And honestly, now I'm 95% in with him, that I like him and he's a good guy, and I want him to be a part of the friend group. I'm leaving that 5% because it's possible that the show is trying to lure me in with him and he could be a backstabber or betray us in some sort after trying to connect with us and, you know, make us care for him. So that's my thoughts with him. I'm very intrigued. I think the most intrigued about Angel and where that whole storyline is gonna go. Oh, and then we also, this is the last thing I wrote down, we also found out that in the last episode, the vampire master was like waving his hand and you could see an invisible force field, and I thought he was like doing something like with his powers, and I was like, what is that doing? But then when we learned about what a hellmouth is a portal between two dimensions. And that is, he's kind of stuck on an in-between. He's stuck at the portal where he can't cross over officially and be in our world, which is why he needed the vessel to get him power, and that's why all of his cronies are trying to get him power. And when he's waving his hand at what looks like creating a force field, he's not creating a force field. There is a barrier there, and that is the Hellmouth. That's the portal that's keeping him back, and he would check in on it to see how much weaker and weaker it was becoming before he'd be able to break through, which fortunately Buffy killed Luke, and we're good to go for now. But like I said, his whole character plotline is probably going to take up this whole season. I love Buffy's mom. I'll just throw that out there. She seems like a very well-rounded mother. She has an appropriate amount of worry for her daughter, as would be expected. Honestly, if I was Buffy, though, I would tell my mom. Like, all of her friends know already. The librarian knows, which I get it. The librarian obviously knows because he's her watcher. But I don't know, because like a lot of my friends know, I guess that's like, as a 25-year-old now, I would tell my mom if I was a vampire slayer. But maybe as a 16-year-old, you know, when you're 16, you are closer to your friends than your family a lot of the time in the way of keeping secrets. And it's not like they're terrible secrets or anything, but it's just like you tell your friends everything and you don't always tell your parents everything when you're 16. So I guess it makes sense that even though her friends do know about the whole vampire stuff, despite her not wanting them to because she doesn't want to put them in danger, it makes sense that she would want to keep it from her mom a little bit. I don't know. I still think even at 16, if I was her, I would tell my mom. Although maybe her mom would probably freak out and it would just cause her a bunch of worry. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, Mom, I'm a vampire slayer and I kill vampires all the time. They would just want to protect you, and they'd probably get in your way and try to shield you from something that just you cannot be shielded from. So it is probably just easier for her to not tell her mom. She's got to figure it out soon, though. Maybe when she turns 18, she'd be like, okay, Mom, I'm 18. There's nothing you can do about this. I'm just going to let you know for the last 4 years I've been a vampire slayer. And then there was one more thing. I didn't write this down, but it popped in my head as I was talking that I wanted to talk about. Oh, the fact that at the club, all the vampires like attacked, obviously, and the whole club full of people was watching, and then they left. And I was wondering, like, they're just gonna let them leave? Is there not, like, we still haven't figured out the bounds of like superpowers in this world? Buffy obviously has like superhuman strength and agility, like jumping that fence in the episode. I was like, oh my god, that's not just parkour, that is flying. When they let all the people, the bystanders, leave, I was like, is there a memory wiper spell or something? Do witches exist? Which the next episode's called The Witch. So there's witches in this world. But yeah, I was like, there's got to be a way that we can clear these people's memories, because they just witnessed a whole bunch of vampires attack the club. But then, you know, when that whole sequence had ended and we got to school the next day, we heard people talking about it. And I think it was Cordelia actually that was talking about it, and she was explaining how, you know, yeah, it was a gang and they looked crazy, which is like, it's kind of a cop-out writing wise. Like, okay, we don't want to out the town to all these vampires, so let's just say they thought it was a gang. But then that's what I thought at first. I was like, oh, okay. But then Giles, sorry, I keep on calling him the librarian when he's like a main character and his name is just Giles. Okay. But then Giles was like, you know, humans will rationalize any possible thing that they can to keep the world around them contained into something that they can fathom and understand. So it doesn't surprise me that they would think that way. I mean, he literally drank her blood on stage, but there's some crazy people out there where if I saw someone like biting at someone's neck in an attack, I wouldn't think it was a vampire, because I don't believe that vampires exist, right? Just like this world doesn't believe vampires exist. I would assume it was just some sort of psychotic cult that thinks that they're vampires or something weird like that. So it does make sense to me after I thought about it for a second that the people who witnessed the club incident would rationalize it in some way and not immediately go to, well, vampires are real. So all right, so I think I'm going to end it there. I loved this episode. I'm grateful to not have another crazy cliffhanger at the end, but I am still very excited about the next one. Please do let me know what you thought of this episode, how you're liking these reactions. Check out my Patreon if you want to check out the full reactions, and I will see you guys next time.